How's everybody doing? I think you're sleepy. I'm going to ask you to stand up. Please, everybody stand up. I'm a super engaging speaker, and I definitely want to wake you up. So I'm going to play a game. Okay, I'm going to tell you something personal about me. I own about 250 pair of heels. So I want you to speak to the person next to you on the right or on the left and tell them something original. Go ahead, start. That's it. I love to see your smiles. You can sit down. You can sit down. This is a good start. You can sit down. I'm taking my big voice. FX Digital. You can sit down. Matt, hi. I love it. Now I can see smiles on your faces, so that makes me so much happy. So as Dom mentioned, Dom, how did you find me?
I saw you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because you'd written a book.
Yeah.
Called 99
That's
Ways
right.
to Get New
99
Customers.
ways to get customers.
And I thought that was a fantastic title for a book. So I bought the book and read the book, and
Yeah.
then I got you on the podcast.
There you go. Personal branding, yeah? So we're going to talk about being a motto. So my name is Flavilla Fongang, as you mentioned. There's only one, so I'm easy to be found. So if anybody decide to stalk me, you can find me easily on Google. And yes, so as I mentioned, I do quite a lot of things. And if I had to define myself in one word, I'm an enabler. I like to believe in impossible and do this. So we're going to be talking about how to be a motto, but I guess I need to tell you my story. So when you think about Paris, what comes to your mind?
Fashion.
Fashion, yes, of course. Yes. Snails are really good. You know, people laugh, but snails are actually really nice. It's a very expensive delicacy in Paris. You quite often will think about this beautiful monument. Say, oh my gosh, she has such a beautiful French accent. She must have born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Well, let me tell you a reality. Actually, I was born in a ghetto. So I was sharing a flat with my mom and my brother and sister, so a family of 5. And we also had other friends such as cockroaches and mice, yes, who was part of the journey. And then obviously we had a bit of a break, and I moved to a new district in Paris, and I was moved to Collège Max Dormois. And this is probably much what I got my second chance. And I met this woman who had no idea who I was. I was a bit of a tomboy. I used to fight with boys. You know, like I'm wearing heels right now. But I used to fight with boys, get in trouble, skip schools. And all my grades were pretty bad. And I was only good at basketball. Believe me, I'm only 5'3". And then she looked at my grade and she looked at me and said, at that moment, she said, you can do better than this. And I thought, this woman doesn't know who I am. But she had so much faith in me. I was like, how on earth? Is there something that she sees in me that I don't see? And I started being obsessed with being the best at school. And I studied and I became even head student. And my grades were so great. And even from now, I'm an obsessive learner. I'm always learning new things. So I always think about, the thing that's injected in me, but also what I've accomplished. So if you think about it, so I've met the French president and the president of Ghana. I've also, as you mentioned, I've been sitting on the BBC sofa, the red sofa, the magic sofa. I went to Jamaica and I was giving the She's Mercedes Award. And I've created the Chile Black Women in Tech, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I've also been a lecturer at a number of universities, including Oxford University. And what else? Yes, and I'm wearing the same dress. But I was doing that in front of 5,000 people. So yes, I have quite a lot of fun doing what I do, but I always think what my life would have been if I've never met this woman. Yeah, probably I would still be a tomboy, probably I would be a drug dealer and, driving an expensive car. God knows why I do like to race. People say my car. But I want you to close your eyes for a minute. As I said, this is super interactive. Close your eyes for a minute. I want you to think about someone that really values you in your life. Everybody close your eyes. Super important. Just close your eyes for a minute. Just think about someone that really values you in your life right now. It could be a friend, it could be a mother, it could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be a dog. And I want you to visualize that person in front of you right now. Can you see that person? Just nod. Yeah? All right. When you see that person, I want you to see that person saying thank you to you. Because if you were not there in their life, probably their life would be completely different. Yes? Open your eyes. That feels good, right? I'll give you a bit of meditation. Okay, we're going to close our eyes again, and I want you to think again about the same person. Yes. And I want you to imagine your life completely different. If you were not in their life, how their life could have turned around. Like if you were a parent, if to, obviously don't wish anything to happen to you, but if you lose, if they lost you or anything like that. And I want you to visualize for a minute. It's probably a bit traumatic, but don't go too much into that. But just think about that for a minute. And it's funny because we always think that, oh, what do I need to care about my personal brand? I'm just one person. I have no impact on anybody. But we are all somehow, big or small, make an impact on one another. And that's why it's important to think about what you're doing with your personal brand. Obviously, dumbfounded thanks to my book that I decided to write for COVID because I'm a crazy person. But yes, so what about you? That's what I say, what about you? So, what is personal branding? Can anybody try to define what is personal branding? Yeah, that's good. Personal branding is what people say about you when you're not in a room. Yes, so you basically don't know. You think about Donald Trump and you think about Obama. Yes, two different men. You probably have a good opinion of one or the other. I don't know which one you like, and I'm not going to ask you to tell because this is your own personal choice. But really, so there's a lot of things that personal branding allows you to do. One of them is power. What is the benefit of personal branding? So power is one of them. I'll give you another one. Money. What else can you think about? Yes.
You're in control.
Control. Yes.
Influence.
Influence. Yes. Yes.
Confidence.
Confidence. Yes.
You get to leverage what you want.
Yes. There's a lot of things. So money, status quo, change, connection, travel, fame, fans, if you're looking for that. Impact, and obviously one of them is authority. I don't want to take a big heavy voice, but authority is probably one of the most important things. As Dom mentioned, I worked before focusing on technology as a branding and marketing agency. I used to work across oil and gas, fashion and luxury, and we decided to focus on technology only about 5 years ago. But if you think about what I've accomplished and what I've done, which I'm going to share my secret so you can apply it to yourself because I'm not better than you. Okay? Are you excited?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Me too. So we're going to talk about immortality. Yes, when I talk about immortality, it's like, oh my gosh, does anybody want to be a Dracula? Probably not. But if tomorrow I want to say, I want to give you a choice. So you take the blue pill and you say exactly where you are, or you take the red pill and you wake and you become immortal. So if you want to take the red pill, raise your hand. Quite a few. I wasn't expecting that. So that's good to know. But what is really immortality? So if you think about this woman, is she immortal? Who is she? Of course. What about this man? Is he immortal? Yes. Was it Steve Jobs? What about her? So, what is the difference between my teacher and all people on the left?
Nobody knows your teacher's name.
Exactly. And trust me, I've been searching for this woman to just say thank you. She probably passed away now. I can't find her. Where else to find her? Yeah, one of the people on the left, they built a legacy and they influence a lot of people even after the death. And this woman died without knowing exactly what she's done and what I've accomplished. It's probably one of the saddest things, for me, and I wish I could just tell her. So, immortality is about legacy. And all of you are doing something pretty amazing. You started a business with the idea that I'm going to change. Something really pissed me off. I'm going to do things better. I'm the best in the business. I'm going to do this. And here we are. But we get so absorbed in doing our job that we forget sometimes what are we leaving behind for our children? What are we leaving behind for what we're trying to accomplish? And what change do we want to see? And it's really about legacy. Do you agree? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So, developing a personal brand, as I mentioned, what do you want people to associate you with when they think about your name? This is really what it's all about. And I think a lot of people don't actually have figured it out. And it's probably the first exercise you need to decide. Do you want to be known into the technology space? Do you want to be known into fashion? You need to decide what exactly you want to be known for. Because if you don't know, then people will just decide what is your personal brand and you will just be all over the place. And this power allows me, as I say, as Don mentioned, that to be able to be approached by big brands without having to make any effort. And that power, I love it, so I can decide who I want to work with and who I don't want to work with. And that's super important. Yes, don't you agree? Yeah. Okay, so I created my models because I love to create model, and I'm going to explain as well why it's so important to think about how you can create your own models. And it's based on 3 Qs. The first one is called SQ for purpose. The second one is called IQ for intellect, and the last one is called EQ for will. And I am a bit of a I'm obsessed with psychology. I love psychology, so I've applied this as well because we do a lot of neuromarketing, so the psychology of consumer behavior. I advise you to check that talk. It's another talk that I do. People always think that I'm a witch because they realize that they're not in control of their own body. But yes, so these are the few keys we're going to talk about, okay? If you want to take a screenshot of that, you can. After that moment's gone. 1, 2, 3, nobody's taking a screenshot, okay. Okay, purpose. Let's start with purpose. Become a visionary. And I went to Paul's talk, which I really like. You know, everything starts with vision. What is your vision? Where you want to go? And I think a lot of people do, you know, get so obsessed in getting the work, but we don't actually have the end goal in mind. You know, are you doing something that is aligned with your vision? And I love that because as I mentioned, I get approached for a number of things, and I think, is there aligned with my vision? No, then sorry, I will not accept it. You know, even sometimes choosing clients who you want to work with. What do you hope to achieve in the future? This is a question you want to ask. And I'm asking you that as an individual, not just as a business. Yes, we're talking about here about your personal brand. How can you be a rock star within your business? So you can also allow yourself to detach yourself from the day-to-day of what it means running a business. So lead with purpose. What is your why? Have you thought about your why? Anybody thought about their why? That's not a lot of people. Yes? I've really thought the hope that when you leave this event, you actually take Friday off just to think about your why and change your life forever and come and tell me everything. What is your mission as well? Same thing. What impact do you want to make on the planet, on your network? So I started to focus on technology about 5 years ago, and I quickly realized, quite often, even right now, I'm the only black woman in the room. And I remember looking at I don't know if you love Twitter, but I love Twitter. And I was on Twitter and I realized this little black girl who decided to create a little piece of technology that allow kids that travel miles to go to school be able to find their way back home. And I thought that was so fascinating. And I thought, I want to work in technology. And then I saw another tweet a couple of months later, and it was this guy who created this, obviously self-dispenser to release soap. When a white hand went underneath, the soap came out. When a black went underneath, what do you think happened? It didn't come out. And, you know, again, something, you know, when you work with the same people, you don't think about that. You think, oh, wow. Or maybe when you put a dispenser, you don't think about a disabled person. Can they reach it? But just that little thing just made me realize how important diversity is. But I think diversity is not just an act of kindness. And I always say that it's good business. We did a report a few months ago and realized that the top companies who are actually the most successful are also perceived as the most diverse. And I think people are still able to align diversity and money. Yes? So when I think about that, and this is what led me to create TLA Black Women in Tech, the idea was that I'm going to bring some black women together and see what happens. And I realized that there were so many unicorns. Actually, it was just women who had 30 years, 20 years in the industry. And as I read, and I started talking to them and say, I've been involved in .com. I said, how come I've never heard your story? Anybody seen Hidden Figures? Yeah. Such a great movie, right? And I'm thinking, we all want to talk about diversity, but what are we doing to actually get kids at a younger age excited about technology? And if you don't know Matt, I ask you to speak to Matt. It does some really cool stuff in technology. And yes, and I want people to discover what they don't know. And you can read this book called The Voice in the Shadow that's coming out in October. And it will be distributed for free across 300 schools across the UK and Ireland. And I'm really excited about that. So you can think about, I am good. What is the thing that's going on in my industry or within my space that I can change? And that ability to just think outside the, I want to say outside the box, but just to not normalize something that is not right and think we can do better than that is really what will drive as well a lot of interest towards what you do. Does it make sense? Yeah? IQ. Obviously, all of you are very intelligent, so that one shouldn't be difficult whatsoever. I have about 5 minutes left on this. I'm going to do another game. Okay, so with your right hand, I want you to draw number 6 in the air. Yes, as far as 6 in the air. And then with your right leg, I want you to turn your leg clockwise. Good. At the same time as this. Yes, yes, yes. You're not doing it both at the same time. I can see you struggling. What's going on? You're not in control of your body. This is what I miss so much about doing in-person event. Looking at you struggling doing that. Yeah, that has nothing to do with my next thing. Just wanted to do it. So, be an expert. The first question you need to ask you is, who are the people that you are competing against who do exactly what you do? What can you add on top of that makes you different? Remember, I talked about your expertise on a subject matter, can be very specific, but also general qualities you possess. I'm going to come back to that. Your strategies, what strategies can you challenge? I can't speak sometimes, so I'm going to bring it up. So think about a model that you can create. What is a model in terms of how you, for example, run your business, can maybe explain it to the world that will help business and can be easily translated. If you think about, everybody heard about the Pareto. Pareto law. Yes, everybody know that. This is a model. What is a model? Can you create your own model? I've created one now. So easy to understand. That's rule number one. Applicable by others, yes, and memorable. So I have another one that I apply for brand growth creation called DSC system: distinguish, attract, and convert. And it's very simple, but anybody can apply it with me or without me. Can you create your own model? And I'm pretty sure that you have, because everybody, each of us, have created a model on a process in terms of how we work that we can advertise to the world. And journalists, trust me, journalists love new ideas that you can apply and you can share with them, so they can and they can take credit for it. Trust me, it really works. Make an impact people can talk about. Yes. If you can, I also do training, and people always talk about the GC system. So there's a lot of things that people share about what I do, which I love. It always makes me happy, and that's why I call myself the enabler. I never know how much impact I will make on people, but it always fascinates me when people apply what I share with them. Does it make sense? Fantastic. So yes, Pareto, did I mention it? And again, this is a book that was done to me. I decided sitting in my office by myself. I say, I'm going to challenge myself. I was inspired by Jay-Z's song, 99 Problems, and isn't one. I'm not going to say the word, but if you know the song. And then I decided I'm going to write a book. And I put it out there to world, say I'm going to write a book. And everybody was super excited. And then that motivated me. I would say writing a book is probably the most painful exercise. But when you have people in Japan reading your book, you're like, you know what? Actually, it feels really good. And again, it opens a lot of doors because you can use that actually as part of your funnel. I'll give you a lot of tips here. Purpose, intellect, now will. Let's talk about the last one. Be a powerful storyteller. Yes, don't be afraid to share your story. As you can see, I've been sharing stories about my personal life to make it real and memorable. Resonate with people. We are all business entrepreneurs, that we all know how it is to manage people, and be more than empty words. Can you bring something to life that people really care about? We are all individuals with our own sense of uniqueness. Use that to be part of how you share your story, either on stage, you don't have to be a speaker, or even when you speak to your employees. And I love that, I run a branding agency, and I always say, my designers don't design logo. They're part of a bigger story. I don't tell them in terms of just the job they're doing in front of them. I show them a bigger picture. This is what they're trying to accomplish, and we're part of that journey. And you can see their eyes just illuminating, yes? Tell the big story, and you can see how people get excited every time, either partners or just employees working with you. So, who are you in comparison with other experts? What do you hope to achieve in the future? The power of failure. Yes, Matt will know. I recently ran a crowdfunding campaign for my book, which I failed. I lost 12K. But thank God, you should not have more than one streams of revenue. Yes, thank God thank you to my corporate sponsors. And it was fine. Even when I fail, I learned something about it. But don't be afraid to share that. And I think people love and resonate when people are not afraid to say that. Sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. So use those epic failures to explain how it led you to become a better person. And don't stop right there and go further. A great storyteller builds a following, creates advocates, creates a movement. And at the end of the day, I can spend a lot of time teaching you about, things that you can do. But what I want you to feel is to live after each of my talks is with a smile on your face. And I hope I did that. And I'm on time, which is a good thing. So be a visionary, be an expert, be a storyteller. Can you be all three of them? Yes, you can, of course. Who is ready for that? Yeah! I'm excited too. So don't be like F. Scott Fitzgerald. Do you remember who it is? Do you know who it is? Yeah, he died without knowing how amazing it was. It's probably one of the most heartbreaking stories. So don't be like him. Yes? So while you're still alive, you're always one decision away from living a totally different life. So do something different, impact on someone, and be happy. That's it. We're done.